The Glasgow Save Our Schools campaign have been fighting now for almost exactly 4 months against the brutal and vicious closures of initially 25 schools. When the council faced the onslaught of public opinion, the lads ignored it and then went ahead with 22 closures. We're still fighting. We're not prepared to cave in just because a bunch of Labour councillors sat and pressed buttons in favour of dumping young kids in old buildings further from home in dangerous routes to school, and then have bigger classes with less teachers and worse education. That's the legacy of that vote on the 23rd of last month. The Labour Council might have decided to close them. They still have to implement it, and we are fighting on every front possible to prevent that. One of the fronts we're fighting on, as we said we would do all along, is attempted legal challenges. We're trying to block it legally. It's certainly immoral what they've done. It's open to debate, unfortunately, whether it's illegal, but we're trying to prove it is. Because, for example, in schools with 16 and 18 different languages spoken, they only sent the material for consultation out in English. And then when they were challenged, the Labour Council came up with a brilliant answer. Well, the notice said if you needed interpreters, you could get them. How the hell are you meant to know that if you don't read English? Another basis on which we're trying to challenge it is that law says, the statutes say, that when you've got children with learning difficulties and disabilities, they're meant to have 6 months minimum consultation. Wait 6 weeks. That is immoral, and we're trying to prove that it's illegal. Whether or not we succeed, we'll try. So there's legal challenges going. There's nursery parents. We never got notice of the plans, even though they're meant to send their children to the primaries that are facing closure. We will challenge that. And there's also issues of health and safety we're challenging. Like some of the school buildings that have been dumped in have asbestos poison, which is the legacy of the vote in April by the Labour Council. They want to dump our kids in those kind of conditions because they just don't care if it saves money. But we're here today for another strand to the struggle. We've fought every way which to stop these closures, and will continue to. We're here to appeal to every one of the 129 MSPs to take this issue up and get a majority in the Parliament. To get a majority in the Parliament for a declaration of MSPs against the closures and in defence of children's education, in defence of smaller class sizes, in defence of the health and safety, in defence of people's ability to work, because many people won't be able to hold their job down and juggle with the childcare deliveries. We are well aware, to put it another way, we won't accept it as an excuse for many MSPs that trot this out to us. We're well aware of the fact that the Scottish Parliament has limited legislative powers over the closure of schools. We've always been aware of that. However, there is plenty of opportunity and potential for the Parliament majority to make a principled political stand against these closures, because there's implications for the whole country, not just its biggest city, Glasgow. It has the implication of larger class sizes rather than smaller, to the detriment of kids' education. It has the implication of children's health and safety. And actually, it's an attack on Scottish democracy, because the consultation process, so-called, was utterly ignored by the Council. 96% of people, almost wall-to-wall working-class people, not that familiar with how you process these procedures. 7,500 submitted their opinions, and 96% were against the closures. That flies in the face of the Council decision. We appeal to the MSPs. Already we're proud to say that we've met MSPs inside, and 5 of them have already on the spot signed our declaration. We congratulate and salute those people for signing it on the spot, the declaration. All we need now is another 60. And the 3 others who are considering it, who've already had a discussion with. We intend to do that. And if we get a majority of the Parliament to declare opposition to these closures on the grounds that there's an impact in the whole country as well as Glasgow, it'll be a powerful blow to the butchers of George Square in the form of the City Council. And I'll finish by saying this. When you look at the parties that voted against the closures in Glasgow City Council, the opposition parties, those parties, combined with dissident Labour MPs, would have a sweeping majority in this Scottish Parliament. I hope that'll be translated into a sweeping majority for this declaration, and then we can continue fighting on all the fronts. And I should also say, if those methods don't work, the school buildings are still there. They are not closed yet, and we are determined to stop the kids being ripped out of the heart of their schools, of their communities. If anyone wants to say from individual schools, step forward. And thanks very much for turning out, despite all the pressures of life. Thanks to the MSPs who are here. And if you're one of the MSPs that's not yet signed, come and see us. It's dead straightforward. You know your name, you know your signature, you can sign it. Thanks a lot. You have to shout. I killed it. Come on! Let me know what to say.